As many of you know, I got into video games and specifically RPGs later in life, therefore it's probably not a surprise that I don't have strong nostalgia for the 8-bit or 16-bit era of games. Even if I had the chance to play RPGs as a kid, I'd have missed that era simply by being too young. So when I was offered a code for 8-Bit Adventures 2, a game building on that inspiration, I wasn't sure how it would go. I was interested based on the information sent along though, and I thought I'd maybe be able to offer a unique perspective on how the game feels to someone who hasn't played that era of games. The answer is pretty good. The aesthetics are rooted in the style of the NES, SNES, PS1 era of games, the story reminded me in a good way of Dragon Quest, and the gameplay has the retro feel while also including some features I think modern RPGs should take on. 8-Bit Adventures 2 is a fun RPG for those with and without ties to the early days of RPGs. 8-Bit Adventures 2 is a turn-based combat RPG developed and published by Australian studio Critical Games. The original 8-Bit Adventures The Forgotten Journey came out back in 2015 for PC to positive reception. After a long development cycle focusing on making a bigger and better game, 8-Bit Adventures 2 came out on January 31st, 2023 for PC. It is available on multiple PC storefronts, including Steam and itch.io. As of yet, no release date for consoles has been announced, but the developers said it should be coming to Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series sometime later this year. The game has received a very positive rating on Steam, and also positive critical reviews, currently sitting at an 86 rating on Metacritic. Both might be on the smaller size for sample, but those who have played this game really seem to enjoy it. There is also a demo out for those interested to try the game before making a purchase. The developer Joshua Halloran has also stated that the game has already recouped development costs and that there should be free DLC coming for the game in the future. For those wondering if the 2 means that you should play the first game before this one, I will speak from my own experience by saying you do not have to. I didn't play the first game and played this one perfectly fine. However, I did notice references to the previous game's events that I know I simply didn't understand. The game does work to help you understand some of the more important details though, which was helpful for my general understanding of the world and characters. I truly think I would have benefited more by playing the first game before this one, but it is nowhere near essential. After having played the second game, I may try to find time to go back to the original game, but we shall see if that happens. In the meantime, the basic answer is yes, this game is fine to play on its own. Taking place 2 years after the events of the first game, you begin as Charlie, the orphan boy cared for by the thief from the original game along with some other orphans from the streets of the capital Theopolis. They have been taken in by Queen Elena to care for, train, and educate, but Charlie is eager to help out the thief and her companions, the warrior and the wizard. Those 3 roles are named by the player, hence the use of titles. His opportunity comes when the warrior disappears and the thief resolves to go after him and get him back. Charlie sneaks along and gets wrapped up in the adventure. The main party members from the original game return along with some new party members with different backgrounds and abilities. Their foe this time? A foe even the mighty computer cannot fight against, a foe with incomprehensible abilities called the Glitch. This enemy will test our party's bonds, morals, and limits in a world-spanning adventure. Will they overcome the foe? And if so, at what cost? Whatever my expectations were for the story and the character writing were certainly surpassed. Every main character had a distinct character arc and well-balanced and thought-out development. This goes even for the main returning characters from the previous game, who I sort of expected to be shunted to the side in favor of the newer characters. Their interactions as a group were also superb and provided significant insight into their characters while having their humorous moments as well. The vast majority of this development happens in the main story, but for those who want even more, there are some optional character events towards the end of the game that help bring closure to some character arcs. The graphics and style of the game is definitely retro, but the writing is at the same level of quality of a solid modern RPG, and I grew quite attached to this group as the game went on. While traveling around on the map and in dungeons, you can see the various enemies and navigate around them or take them on depending on how you're feeling. I've seen far too many retro-inspired games copy random encounters, and I was very happy to see this game didn't do that. The enemies are fixed, but for those who want to grind or continue to battle, which is not necessary to complete the game, there is a feature in the game that I think more games should have. At certain save points you can pick to revive all enemies in a dungeon, allowing you to go back through and battle them again. The save points, by the way, are not the only place you can save. You can save whenever, but the save points are there as a reminder to save before certain major events or bosses, and even give tips to defeat the boss if you want. I was grateful to have these mechanics, and I think it gave the game a unique flair, along with making me feel like more games should have this quality of life feature for dungeon exploration. The dungeons themselves are fairly standard. There are some puzzles that were fun brain teasers without being too challenging. Other than visuals, that was the main distinction between the dungeons. While most of the time is spent just doing the main story, which took me around 20 hours to beat, there are several side adventures to do as well. The aforementioned character-specific quests are one, but there's quite a few others, most of them appearing just before the final dungeon, and you're given a guide that will help point you in their direction. There is plenty to do packed into the game for those who are enjoying the ride and don't want it to end just yet when they get to the later portion of the game. When you do engage in combat, your team is composed of 3 active party members against the enemies. Your options, except for one party member, are standard attack, unique character attack, skills, items, defend, run away, and swap party member. Standard attack's only wrinkle comes with a party member who can choose between levels of power. The greater the power, the lower the accuracy, and vice versa. The unique character attack can be performed without using any AP, fits the general playstyle of the character, and is quite useful. Skills use AP or MP and can be any from attacks and buffs to inflicting status ailments or healing. Later on, you can also learn dual or triple skills that party members team up to perform. The magic system does have an elemental focus, and certain enemies are weak or strong against certain elements, or on rarer occasions, weapons. Keep it in mind if you need an extra edge in certain battles, but it's not a big part of the combat system. Items, defend, and run away operate similarly to typical RPGs. Swapping party members, though, can happen at any time, and if you decide the character you swap to isn't actually the best fit for the situation, you can swap back immediately, no harm done. Again, a mechanic that feels far too modern for a game that looks like this. It's clear though that the developers wanted the players to have a good time and not just replicate past games. Finally, we have the Omega Burst abilities. On the bottom of the screen, a bar fills up every time you take or deal damage. Once that bar is full, one of the party members can unleash a very powerful, unique ability that uses up the bar and can turn a battle to your favor. I also have to give props for the enemy variety. From the standard enemies all the way up to the bosses, there's a lot of flexibility in the system for how they take on our party. This variety kept me on my toes with each battle, but with quick switching of party members, it was also easy to respond to an unexpected development in battle. There are times in other RPGs that I felt like I lost the battle just by starting the encounter with the wrong team, and 8-Bit Adventures 2 never made me feel that way. No battle was lost so long as I still had someone standing. Some of these fights could be quite challenging, and only one of those I would describe as unfairly challenging. For the most part, the game hit the sweet spot of turn-based combat where you have the knowledge to plan while also leaving room for some unexpected twists that you should be able to respond to. The Dragon Quest comparison that I made earlier with regards to the story, I think also applies to the combat. And for those who know how much I like Dragon Quest XI's, I think that's quite the compliment. I don't usually talk about equipment unless, of course, there is something notable, and in this case, those would be the augments. The equipment management is mostly what you'd expect, with a choice of weapons, armor, and accessories to put on your characters, and that you should periodically upgrade with looted items from dungeons or ones bought from town. As you're going around stealing from all the chests in the world, though, you'll encounter specific items called augments. As your characters level up, they can equip these augments, up to 5 of them, and they have a variety of functions. Some do standard stat raises, some give automatic buffs in battle, and others have more specific functions like increasing counter rate or increasing the amount you heal from items. Highly useful and fun to play around with to see how you can shore up weaknesses or further enhance the strengths of your party members. As for presentation, the game looks really nice. The pixel art is done excellently, and the occasional cut-in graphics are charming and distinct as well. There's careful use of colors to make everything pop on screen that's important, and the excellent sprite work also carries over to the animation, which adds greater personality to the party. One thing that the game does that was ambitious is timing animations with the text scroll in dialogue. It gives the interactions a more active and lively feel. It is a balance though, because the text scroll is quite slow since it's timed so precisely, which was a noted critique. They added in a fast text option which alleviates that issue while losing the charming and well-timed animations to the dialogue, so it's a give and take on what you'd prefer to have. The music was pleasing to listen to as well. I don't have much else to say on that front. The music did exactly what it was supposed to in every moment of the game, enhancing the overall product. UI and UX wise, the game's menus are snappy and easy to navigate and use both in and out of battle. I think the information presentation was clear on the overworld map and in menus. They do recommend playing on a controller, but I was fine using just the keyboard throughout my playthrough. 8-Bit Adventures 2 uses its inspirations to give a certain feel with the presentation while both adhering to and advancing the gameplay of older RPGs. This game has plenty of features that I feel would make current RPGs better with their inclusion, and shows that this game is not just about surface level experience. This is a quality RPG on all fronts. Many different gamers will love this game. It gives a retro RPG experience with modern conveniences that only boost the enjoyability of the game. And thus it is good for newbies, veterans, people who have been playing for decades, people who have been playing for a year. Any RPG fan can enjoy this game. If you think you could be one of those people, I encourage you to give 8-Bit Adventures 2 a try. There's always the demo if you want to experience it for yourself before buying. Thank you to Critical Games for the code. If you enjoyed the video, leaving it a like helps everyone out, gives you dopamine, gives the channel more attention, and gets the game in front of more people. Let me know in the comments what you think about the video and subscribe for more videos in the future. Have a great day and happy gaming.